Welcome back to the Watch List. I'm Nicole Petalides. Thanks for being with me. I want to talk about some of the market trends we're seeing and some names for us all to be watching. David Stryzewski is with us, CEO of Sound Planning Group. Good to see you, David. Thanks for being on here. So you're feeling bullish on certain things, such as commodities like oil and silver. Why is that?
Well, great to be with you as always, Nicole. I've been talking about this for a while, and that is, we need to be evaluating right now where we are as a nation. And I think it's very important for us to understand that, we just got this debt ceiling deal done. That's wonderful. I'm thankful for that. I'm not sure exactly what we got out of the deal, because we increased spending by, $4 trillion and over the next year and a half. And so I think that the U.S. dollar is getting weaker is really what it comes down to. And that commodity prices are going to have more value relative to the U.S. dollar as things continue to change. So, oil, we're not going anywhere on oil. I mean, I think that the electric technology is wonderful. I vote that we can be able to use more of that. But oil's not going away. And in fact, if you look at, how developing nations are building right now, China's rolling coal plants out at a number that is almost even makes you blush how many coal plants they're producing annually, like over 300 per year. So anyway, I think oil is going to do well, and I think that silver is an important component to really be looking at, because when we get back to a real valuation of real assets and how they were really defined, I think that we're going to understand something, and that is something I've said on your show a couple of times, which is, we can produce 9 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. Yet the ratio today is 81 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. And so silver's got a lot of industrial use that has not really been priced into what's going on here. And, we actually have to produce this stuff and make this stuff. We don't just print it out of thin air. And so I think that there's real value to some of those things. And, also if we really get down to lithium and some of the intrinsic metals, I think that there can be some good plays there. But, we've added $10 trillion to our national debt just in the last 4 years. And so that's really the reason why I'm pointing this out and making sure that, we're at least examining these ideas and your viewers are putting this within their purview because it's important.
And we're also at risk of, while we handled the debt ceiling issue and raised the debt ceiling, we're still at risk of a government shutdown, because you still have some amendments that need to be decided on, and you could still have a government shutdown. Anyhow, let's move on, because I want to give people the opportunity and have actionable advice. You mentioned you liked oil, you liked silver, you said it why. You also like some semiconductors. When we think about cybersecurity and semis, some of these names have run up already, but what is it about these groups? Let's start with semis. You call it the oil of the tech industry. Why is that? What names do you like?
Okay, so the reason why I call it the oil of the tech industry is because without it, we can't really function. If you look at a car lot today, the reason why they're empty is because we don't have semiconductors. So this is a very important part of our future. The United States has made big investments into it. I think that there's some important names to be paying attention to in that. For my notes here, I was just indicating, that Taiwan Semiconductor has done better than almost, in NVIDIA, better than almost any other stocks year to date, which is amazing. But they're trading at like 40 times multiples. So earnings aren't going to be able to really support those numbers here today. ON is a semiconductor company that we think has some value. It's an opportunity right now. It hasn't really, peaked in the same way. And so I think that that's an important consideration to be looking at.
Yeah, on semi. Yep. And then when we turn our attention over to cybersecurity, you see opportunity there. I think everybody understands why cybersecurity is so important every day. But as we had the pandemic and people were working from home, right, you're more at risk there. You had the Russia-Ukraine story. There was risk there. But on the daily, cybersecurity is most important. Tell me some of the names you like there and why.
Okay, so Pfizer is a FISV is an important opportunity to be looking at right now, as well as Fortinet. These are organizations that we think are going to do well. The cyber conversation is real. I think that as we especially are talking about, China potentially, not having as favorable looks at us and spying with balloons and different things. I think that we're, as a nation, going to be looking at things a little bit differently as it relates to our cybersecurity, our ability to have systems and whatnot that are going to give us the ability to be safe here in our workplaces, and ultimately keep our data safe. But if we don't get some of this technology, really good, we've got a lot of threats and risk right now with AI, and a lot of uncertainty about what that future might be.
So as you're playing some of these topics that you think have merit, are there anything that seems obvious to you, whether it's sectors or names that are always a go-to or maybe stay away from?
Well, if you owned about 7 stocks here this year, being the FANG stocks, you've got a better return on your investment than anything. So, certainly the FANG stocks are in favor right now. There's a lot of growth. I think ExxonMobil is another name that's really important. Again, just speaking to the oil and gas conversation, they're obviously huge. They've got a lot of opportunities right now with new exploration, and they also refine as well. So they're not just pumping, but they're also doing, everything soup to nuts as it relates to the oil industry. So those are a handful of names that I think could be beneficial. But, we're probably in a bear bounce right now. So how long does that ultimately last for? I'm not sure. I think some of these plays are good longer-term investments, but I personally don't have a tremendous amount of confidence thinking that we're just at the beginning of a new bull market and that we're out of the woods with some of the challenges. We just got to a pause here as the Federal Reserve has, not raised rates. And so we're just seeing a broadening, which I think is what your question was alluding to. And that broadening just gives us more opportunity for names that haven't really appreciated yet in the same way as some of those FANG stocks.
Thank you so much, David. Nice to see you. Thanks. David Stryzewski, CEO of Sound Planning Group.